What would you do if the land you loved, the one place you called yours, was suddenly claimed by strangers who didn't understand its worth? For Daniel Harper, that question wasn't hypothetical. It was a battle that began on a quiet evening by Lake Serenity, a shimmering gem nestled in the woods of upstate New York. Daniel, a man of 40 with weathered hands and a heart tethered to the wild, had inherited this lake and its surrounding acres from his grandfather. It was more than property, it was his sanctuary, where he'd spent childhood summers casting lines and dreaming under starlit skies. Now, as he pitched his tent by the water's edge, the crackle of his campfire was interrupted by the wail of sirens. The homeowners association from the nearby gated community, Crestwood Estates, had called the police. They claimed Daniel's land was part of their jurisdiction, that his campfire violated their bylaws. As two officers approached, their flashlights cutting through the dusk, Daniel's jaw tightened. He produced the deed, the survey maps, the legal proof that this lake was his. The officers, after a tense exchange, left with apologies, but the HOA's president, Margaret Klein, wasn't done. She stood at the property line, arms crossed, her voice sharp as she vowed to regulate his land. Daniel's response was a quiet smile. He knew something she didn't. The next morning, Daniel drove to the county courthouse, his truck rattling over gravel roads. He wasn't just a man who loved his lake, he was a man who'd studied property law after a lifetime of watching developers encroach on his family's land. He filed a formal complaint against Crestwood Estates for trespassing, citing their unauthorized interference on his private property. But the twist came when he uncovered a forgotten clause in the county's zoning records. Any entity falsely claiming jurisdiction over private land was liable for punitive fines. And Margaret's HOA had been sending him violation notices for months, each one an illegal overreach. Enter Clara, a young paralegal at the courthouse who overheard Daniel's case. She wasn't supposed to get involved, but her eyes sparkled with a fire Daniel recognized, a hunger for justice. Clara had grown up in a trailer park bulldozed by Crestwood's developers, and she saw in Daniel's fight a chance to strike back. She slipped him a file, a damning paper trail of the HOA's oversteps, forged signatures, doctored maps, and emails plotting to annex his lake for a luxury dock. "They thought you'd roll over," Clara whispered. "Prove them wrong." Armed with this evidence, Daniel's case grew teeth. He didn't just want the HOA off his back, wanted accountability. The courtroom was a battleground, with Margaret's lawyers spinning tales of community safety, while Daniel laid out the facts. His deed was ironclad. The HOA's claims were baseless, and their actions had cost him time, peace, and legal fees. Clara's file was the knockout punch, exposing the HOA's fraud. The judge's gavel fell like thunder. Crestwood Estates was ordered to pay $50,000 in fines and trespass penalties, plus Daniel's legal costs. The gallery buzzed as Margaret's face drained of color. Back at Lake Serenity, Daniel sat by the water, the fines payment deposited, but no victory sweeter than the quiet. He thought of Clara, who'd refused any reward, saying only, "This one's for the underdog." He thought of his grandfather, who'd taught him to fight for what mattered. The lake shimmered under the moon, untouched, his. The HOA signs were gone, their threats silenced. Daniel cast his line into the water, the ripples carrying a lesson. Some things are worth more than money, but justice can make the greedy pay.